Alright. Hello everyone, my name is Robert and today I'm going to be giving you some advice on which vehicle you want to choose for your college years for transportation. And this will be covering a very age-old topic of the car versus the motorcycle. Now the car I picked for this comparison is a 2025 Toyota Camry, very nice, very high-end. And the motorcycle I picked, as pictured here, is a 2009 GT 250R. It's a very small motorcycle, 250 cc's, not that hard to maintain or learn on. Now, for my next point in this comparison, which is going to be broken down into certain segments, is the fuel cost of a motorcycle versus a car. Imagine paying $10 to $12 for one tank of gas and it lasting almost a month versus paying $50 to fill up your car. So with that, the Environmental Protection Agency had done a study on small displacement motorcycles 50 to 250 cc, and what they found is that they are able to do 60 to 80 miles per gallon versus a 2025 Toyota Camry that can only do 28 to 34 miles per gallon. And again, this data is from 2023, but it's still relevant to today's standards. Now, the next segment I want to talk about is insurance, because you have to carry insurance in both vehicles. So for insurance costs on the GT 250R, you only have to do $100 a year. Very cheap, I know. Whereas with the Toyota Camry, you have to carry a minimum between $1,200 to $1,800 a year. That's full coverage because you have a loan against the title of the car that you have to pay the bank back with. And those can also be found on Value Penguin and Zebra for the insurance quotes. Now, the next thing I do want to point out is the maintenance costs. The maintenance costs on the Toyota Camry are extremely high because again, it's a very high-end car and it's very kind of expensive, or it's getting to be more expensive to maintain, operate, and own versus having a 2009 GT 250R motorcycle. So for the motorcycle, for the oil change, it's about $20 to $40 for a DIY. Do it yourself, learn a new trade skill that you can carry on through life. Next thing I want to point out is tires, $200 for a set, front and back. Next is brake pads, which are about $25 to $40 for the brake pads, which is fairly cheap. Next is the chain of sprocket. That is done every 10 to 15,000 miles or every third oil change. So for the Camry, the oil change is from $60 to $120 at a dealership. Dealership start at $120 and go up from there. Tires can be $900 to $1,300. I've seen as high as $1,800 before at a dealership. Not real fun. And that's for a set of 4 tires. So brake pads and major services. Brake pads are between $600 to $1,200. Again, it's getting very expensive. That does not include any kind of engine replacement, coolant flush, transmission flush, major services that are required for the car. The next thing I want to cover is the subject of parking and storage, like where you're going to store the bike. So in some cases, if you live on the ground floor in the apartment and you live by yourself, you can actually pull the motorcycle into the living room and park it there. That way you can keep it clean, you can keep it serviced, you can do all your wrenching on it inside the apartment. It's out of the way, it's out of the elements, and you get to stay warm. One of the other benefits is that you can park on the sidewalk, you can park under a tree, you can park virtually anywhere. You can literally park anywhere. And another good thing is when you're trying to get in between cars, it's so narrow, it'll zip right through. Whereas with a car, you're kind of limited because you have to find a parking space. And with it being a sedan, 4-door car, it's a much longer car, so it's going to be harder to find a place to park. Now, one of the limitations, however, as you can see outside and here, is weather. Weather plays a very big part of that, and that's what's going to lead me into my next segment for riding gear. But with weather, there is a network that the riders actually can pull from. They can talk to other riders in that area for suggestions, for tips, tricks, how to do things. In worst case scenario, if you can't plan ahead, you can just take public transit or have a secondary vehicle that you can use during the winter months. Now, for riding gear, I do have an example here. And this is my personal leather jacket. This is what I use during the winter. I usually put a few layers underneath. Some of these come with an inside removable liner that you can use. It just really depends on your taste and your budget. But they do have heated gear that you can get for gloves inside the jacket. They have pants that are heated socks, even like snowmobile style helmets that will help with the winter months. Now, for the total cost of ownership, and this is per year basis, because with motorcycles it's a yearly thing for insurance costs and everything. For the GT250R, the total cost with fuel, maintenance and everything is around $1,000 a month, or $1,000 a year. Whereas the Camry estimate, that's between $3,500 to $7,000 a year. So you're already seeing kind of where a lot more of your money can go. Because if you're saving this much amount of money, you can put that toward your books, tuition, meals. You don't have to eat ramen noodles every night as you would with the Camry. And my conclusion is personal preference. I recommend using a motorcycle to save your costs, especially when trying to navigate student loans and everything, keep your costs low while going to college. After college, yes, that's when you can get your big dream car and everything. You've already struggled through 4 years or 8 years of college. You're now saved up enough money by cutting costs back with your transportation of the motorcycle. This is what I recommend. And this is my sources page where all my visual aids have been broken down into my pictures for both the motorcycle and the car. And this is all the other online searches here. Okay. Once again, that was my talk on comparing the motorcycle to the car. Thank you for your time, and I wish you happy travels.